Hi. Hi, Alan.
Canner, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I don't know if Rabbi Katz told you, my son-in-law's father passed away Tuesday.
Oh, I didn't know. I'm so
He was a very
sorry.
good man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He lived in the Ottoman Empire. Ziad was born in Lebanon. His mother was Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
And the father told me the history of the Jewish settlements in the Ottoman Empire.
Wow.
And afterwards. Very smart man. His family dealt in business throughout the Middle East.
Ah. Hi, Rabatil.
Good morning. How are you?
Okay.
Good. Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
Alan, I
shalom.
was very sorry. Yes, I was very sorry. I heard about Ziad's dad. I was very sorry to hear.
He turned 89 Tuesday and he died Wednesday a little after 7.
Ay, 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 ay. I'm sorry.
He was a very
Yeah.
good man.
Yes, it's what I've heard for sure.
The rabbi used to eat in his restaurant. He had a restaurant on Monroe Avenue,
Mhm.
Middle East restaurant.
Uh, which one? Lebanese?
What?
What kind of restaurant?
Middle
Mediterranean?
East.
Middle East. It's nice.
How's Ziad doing?
He's doing okay. I'll see him later today.
Good.
So,
Were
Alan,
you-
are you getting out? Are you going places?
What?
Are you getting out? Are you going somewhere, places?
Not really. I play golf. You want to play golf?
I don't know how to play golf, unfortunately.
Rabbi Till, you want to play golf?
I'll play mini golf.
Mini
No,
golf.
no, regular golf.
Nope, I'm not me.
I guess
I
if
play
you're
with a mask on.
Hi, Ellen. How are you?
There's
Muted.
Ellen. Ellen, how
Ellen, you
are you?
muted. You muted.
Why?
Ellen, you muted. We can't hear you.
Maybe she wants to be muted. Maybe she's on the phone.
I just want to say
We can't
thank
hear
you.
you.
You people do a very good service online. Very good.
Thank you. Work in progress. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Were you there last night?
Proud. You make me proud to be a member of the temple.
Thank you. Thank you. Alan, were you there last night? Did you hear Reverend Washington?
Yes, I heard everything.
Yeah.
I said Kaddish for Ziad.
Uh-huh. Nice. Nice.
Ay.
Shabbat shalom, Janet. Nice to see you.
Shabbat shalom.
I think we've got a TV on. Alan, you don't have a TV on, do you? No?
Volume 35.
There we go. Hi, Janet. Shabbat shalom. Hi, Ellen. Shabbat shalom.
I was going to ask you, Rabbi, what are your two girls doing this summer?
They are going to go to their dad in Miami for some, and they'll be here for some. So yeah, no camp this summer. No camp.
Yeah, I know there's no camp.
Yeah. Shabbat shalom, Jackie.
Shabbat shalom. Are you muted, Jackie?
I hear the Canners opening up a camp for everybody.
Yay! On my backyard.
Yeah,
BYOB.
that's it.
I'll be over tonight.
Ellen, we can't hear you, Ellen Goldenberg.
I said I'll be over tonight to play with the boys.
Great. BYOB. Bring your own baby
That's it.
and bottle.
That's it.
I'm here now. Can you hear me?
We can, yeah, we can hear you, but we
Okay.
can't hear Ellen. Ellen Goldenberg, we can't hear.
Maybe your earbuds didn't connect.
Yeah, it might not be pushed all the way in your earphones. Yeah. No, Ellen can't hear you at all.
The Reverend spoke beautifully last night.
He's
He
such
was
a
marvelous.
yes, he's such a passionate, truthful,
Mhm.
compelling speaker. Right? He's just a mensch of a man, and
Yeah.
and he spoke very powerfully last night from his heart. From his heart.
Yes, it didn't even look like he had any kind of notes in front of him. I didn't
Yeah.
see his eyes go down at all, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so he truly spoke from his heart. He was.
Yeah.
I had never heard him before.
Oh no.
No, never.
He's,
I remember a long time ago, Reverend Goff came to Temple Sinai,
Yeah.
and I was enthralled by him, and I was equally as enthralled with Reverend Washington last night.
Yeah.
It was marvelous and so honest and so correct.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be community.
Yeah.
And hopefully it will be.
Yeah. Yep. He speaks a difficult truth
Mhm.
from his heart, and quite simply, like not plain, like for us to hear, right? He
Yes.
says it as he means it, right?
Yes.
And he does great work in the community. He does part-time work in Brighton. I don't know if you know this, Jackie, but
Oh.
he is the diversity consultant for the Brighton school system.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, but it's one of his other accolades. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, he was certainly marvelous and
Yeah.
very inspiring.
Yeah, agreed.
I feel as though he was sitting in my living room, you know,
Yeah.
talking. You know, it was very personable.
Yeah, Pip. I agree. All right, friends, I'm going to mute everybody, and then we'll unmute at the very end, and have an opportunity to speak to. Oh, well, actually, we'll unmute at the Torah service as well, and go from there.
How does that work?
Yeah, I think I see people are still.
Yep,
Yeah,
unmuted.
ironically, you are unmuted right now as I'm muting everybody.
How did that work? I redid up.
Yeah, you're good. But I'm
Okay.
just about to, it's good to see you. I'm just about to mute everybody.
Okay.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Hopefully you are able to hear us, and we'll hear you at Torah study, and feel you in between, and pay warm attention to you, singing with us and praying with us and being with us as we continue on with Shabbat. We were just talking about how powerfully Reverend Washington spoke last night, and what an important and timely message he shared with us from his heart, and you know, we continue onward, right? We use Shabbat. It is our mission to take Shabbat as it comes to us as an opportunity for renewal, for rest, for refreshing, and for reframing, right? For thinking about how we're going to move forward in the week ahead. And we are meant to take a pause at this time. Not that the work itself goes away, or the needs go away, or our respective work, whatever that looks like, goes away, but it is for us to take a pause in this moment, to be thankful for what we can and to move forward. So we begin this morning, as we do each Shabbat, in song, in prayer, and in community.
Ma tovu, ma tovu, ohalecha Yaakov, mishkeretecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ma tovu. tovu, ma tovu, ochalecha Yaakov, mishkinatecha Yisrael, vani tefilati lecha, Adonai et rasan, Elohim berach chasdecha, Elohim berach chasdecha, Haneni be'emet ishecha, ma tovu, ochalecha Yaakov, Mishkinatecha Yisrael, ma tovu, ochalecha Yaakov, Mishkinatecha Yisrael, Mishkinatecha Yisrael.
And we say, praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who formed the human body with skill, creating the body's many pathways and openings. It is well known before your throne of glory that if one of them be wrongly opened or closed, it would be impossible to endure and stand before you. Blessed are you, Adonai, who heals all flesh, working wondrously. Baruch atah Adonai, rofechol basar umafli la'asot. I find by experience, not by reasoning, but by my own discovery that God is near me and I can be near God at all times. I cannot explain it, but I am as sure of my experience as I am of the fact that I live and love. I cannot explain how I've come to live and love, but I know that I do. And in the same way, I know I am in contact with God.
Hallelujah, Hallelujah, birki auzo, Hallelujah, bigvorata, Hallelujah, keragudlo, kor haneshamate, Hallelujah, 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 kor haneshamate, Hallelujah, 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 beteka shofar, Hallelujah, benebel bechinon, Hallelujah, betofu machol, Hallelujah, bemini ve'ogav, kol haneshamate, Hallelujah, 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 kol haneshamate, Hallelujah, 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 bitziltili shama, Hallelujah, bitziltili trua, kol haneshamate, Hallelujah, 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 kol haneshamate, Hallelujah,
that it is for us to say thank you and praised are you, sovereign of wonders, crowned in adoration, delighted in song, eternal majesty. We continue now with the Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, בעמדי ברכירותי בימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכו בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב יאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי קדושה, בריחו להאמין כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה ויאמרו Amen.
Join us, please, as we continue with our call to worship. We ask you in body or in spirit to please rise. Creator of lightness and darkness, our world is beyond our knowledge, greater than our understanding. Help us, O God, to accept what we cannot understand, to love the beauty of creation without trying to control it. Teach us to bend with life, to repair what we can repair, to live with our questions, and to rejoice in your wonders. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMeorot. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. Ahava Rabbah, great love, praised be you, Adonai, who chooses your people Israel in love. Baruch atah Adonai, habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahava.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Vaed.
And please be seated.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי ויתם קרשים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
When we ask who is like you, O God, we say like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and we come to know as we rejoice. Join us please as we sing Mi Chamocha.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 yai lai yai lai lai. Yai lai 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 yai lai lai lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'chodesh, norat tehilot osef eleh. Nora tehilot osef eleh. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. La 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 ya la ya la la. Ya la 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 ya la 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 la. Shiro harasho shiphu yehudim, shimcho sefot hayom. Yachat kolam hadu v'himlichu v'yameru, Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai imloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 yai lai ya la la. Yai lai 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 ya la 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 lai. Tzur Israel kuma bezrat Israel, ufedeinu mecha Yehuda veYisrael. Go'aleinu Adonai tzebahot shemo, kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
We continue now as we head to Tefillah and we say, pray as if everything depends on God and act as if everything depended on you. We invite you please in body or in spirit to rise for the Tefillah.
Adonai sefata tiftachu fi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Abotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rahel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Konech HaKol, V'Zocher Chazdei Avot v'Imachot, U'mevii Gila libnei b'nechem leman Shemo b'Ahava, Melech Hozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham b'Ezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol, Atah Raf le'Hoshia, Morit chatal, Mechalkel chayim b'chesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim v'rofech holim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Mi chamocha bal gevorot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman natan le'ayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai mechayeh hakol. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא הארץ כבודו אדיר אדירנו אדוני אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו מלכנו ומושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו לעיני כל חי אני אדוני אלוהיכם ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור הללויה לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו יפיל לא ימוש לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
And please be seated. We continue now with the joy of Shabbat. We continue in song and invite you please to join us as we sing Yismechu. Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will also rejoice in your Ra. So please join us as we continue in song. Some joy of Shabbat, that for which to be so grateful. As we say, Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies this holy day, Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Hamachazir Shechinato L'Tzion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai Hatov Shimcha Olachana Elohodot. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. We continue with our prayers for shalom, for wholeness, for peace.
שים שלום, טובה וברכה, חן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך, ברכנו יצרנו כולנו כאחד באור פניך, כי באור פניך נתת לנו אדוני אלוהינו. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, הן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך, תורת חיים ואהבת חסד ואהבת חסד וצדקה וברכה ורחמים וחיים בשלום. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, הן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך, וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שים שלום, טובה וברכה, הן וחסד ורחמים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל ישראל עמך.
I am ever mindful in these days and weeks and months that have stretched on how resilient and amazing our community is. We are as a people that even muted, you managed your Sim Shalom refrain. So I love that. I love being in even in muted congregation with you. It is truly a joy. Thank you for doing everything that you can to ensure that we continue in the same loving and harmonious way that we can. Let's take a few minutes, each of us, all of us, in silence and prayer and meditation, in some refocusing, some centering, and some quiet. Let's direct our hearts, our prayers, our energies toward those who are struggling, those who are in need of healing, of wholeness, of courage, of patience, of our care, as we think of all those who are impacted by the coronavirus, all those who are caring for those who are impacted, those who are separate from their loved ones who are struggling right now, those in our own community, and those who have no one to say a prayer for them, as we say, Mishaberach Avotenu V'Imotenu, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, Leah, Hu Yivarech et HaCholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and strengthen those who are struggling. In our community this morning and this Shabbat, we are holding in our hearts Thomas DiMatteo, Mark Friedman, Elizabeth Friedman, Dorothy Jacobson, Shana Esther Bat Ruchel, Chris Sura, Joel Shamaskin, Chaya Necha Bat Ribalea, Simon Brightman, Barbara Baer, Katriel Parachia Ben Herschel Laser V'Shoshana, Michael Weistreich, Sally Graf, Sarah Bat Abraham V'Sarah, William Fawcett Jr., Alan Skirker, Muriel Steinberg, Chaim Ben Sarah, Dina Yehoshua, Jeffrey Sussman, Laura Braun, Margaret Canner, Leslie Lockett, Bobby Johnson, Shulamit Buzo, Francis Reichold, Raymond Condon, Hilda Ring, Susan Silton Tobias, Alan Edelman, and Liz Orenstein. If there are other names that you would add to this list, please do so at this time in the chat box, and we'll hold them in our prayers as well. Gerald Dreyer, Jason Wieland, Aaron Nehemiah Ben Sarah, and Matt Jones. Anna D'Souza, Leona Johnson, Ann Miller, Eileen Kaplan, Rachel Glick, May the Holy Blessed One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored, their strength to be revived. May God send them renewal of body and renewal of spirit as we join together in saying, Amen.
May the source of strength, who blessed be gone before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I was thinking last night about the words that that Reverend Washington shared with us about the value of being with one another, finding a way to be with one another in our moments, just to cry with one another, or just to lament with one another, or just to be alongside one another, and how much more aware we are at this time of the ways in which that can be done. So I encourage you, as we share the words of the Mishaberach and his words resonate for us, that we look for opportunities to either be alongside those who are in need of our presence, or allow others to be alongside of us as their presence is needed for us as well. We'll turn now to our study of Torah. We are in Parshat Shalach Lecha from Numbers chapter 13. For those of you who have not been following our Torah reading so far, it is a time just as it's detailing the time just before the Israelites are hoping to enter the land of Israel, and we know that this is unsure of what might await them. Moses sends 12 spies in, one from each of the tribes, to explore the land, charging each of them just to see if the land is suitable for us to enter. So we're gonna read some of the text together. Hopefully you will be able to see the text. And I am going to unmute everybody so that we can have a conversation as well.
Good. Did you like it?
Okay, so you should all be unmuted now.
Was it?
So, yep. So I am going to ask if you have any background noise as best you can to try to limit it, and hopefully we can read this text together. We'll say the bracha. The sections that are highlighted in the yellow are the sections that we'll read. So I'll ask for a volunteer in a second who would like to read after we say our bracha. And I'll leave it to you whether or not you want to read all the tribes of, and or if you want to read them in your head, and I'll leave that to whoever offers to read for us. So before we say our bracha, can I get a volunteer to read the English for us?
I could see the words, I could do it, but they're tiny.
You can't see them?
I can see the thing, but I gotta make the words bigger to see them.
Are they small? Are they small on everybody's screen?
No, it's just that I'm not side by side anymore.
Okay.
Let me just figure out how to do that.
Would anybody else like to, can anybody else see it clearly that would like to read the English?
I can.
Great, thank you, Janet. Let's say the bracha. Janet, like I say, we'll leave it to you whether you want to read the section of "and these were their names," or if you want to let people read, take a bit of a pause, let people read those on their own, and then jump ahead to 17. But if you want to start with 13, one after a bracha, and then continue on, I'll scroll down as we need, okay?
All right.
All right, Cantor, will you help us with the bracha?
Baruch Adonai Hambarach.
Baruch
Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam, Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen.
The Eternal One spoke to Moses, saying, "Send emissaries to scout the land of Canaan, which I am giving to the Israelite people. Send one representative from each of their ancestral tribes, each one a chieftain among them." So Moses, by the Eternal's command, sent them out from the wilderness of Paran, all of them being notables, leaders of the Israelites. And you can all read their names. When Moses sent them to scout the land of Canaan, he said to them, "Go up there into the Negeb and on into the hill country, and see what kind of country it is. Are the people who dwell in it strong or weak, few or many? Is the country in which they dwell good or bad? Are the towns they live in open or fortified? Is the soil rich or poor? Is it wooded or not? And take pains to bring back some of the fruit of the land." Now it happened to be the season of the first ripe grapes. Should I go on?
Yeah, you can go on. Yeah, if you're good to go, okay, please go ahead.
They went up and scouted the land from the wilderness of Zin to Rehob at Lebo Hamath. They went up into the Negeb and came to Hebron, where lived Ahiman, Shishai, and Talmai the Anakites. Now Hebron was founded 7 years before Zon of Egypt. They reached the Wadi Echol Eshol.
Yep.
And there they cut down a branch with a single cluster of grapes. It had to be borne on a carrying flame by 2 of them, and some pomegranates and figs. That place was named the Wadi Eshol because of the cluster that the Israelites cut down there. At the end of the 40 days, they turned from scouting the land. They went straight to Moses and Aaron and the whole Israelite community at Kadesh in the wilderness of Paran, and they made their report to them and the whole community as they showed them the fruit of the land. This is what they told him. We came to the land you sent us to. It does indeed flow with milk and honey, and this is its fruit. However, the people who inhabit the country are powerful, and the cities are fortified and very large. Moreover, we saw the Anakites there. Amalekites dwell in the Negeb region. Hittites, Jebusites, and Amorites inhabit the hill country, and Canaanites dwelt by the sea and along the Jordan. Caleb hushed the people before Moses and said, "Let us by all means go up, and we shall gain possession of it, for we shall surely overcome it." But the emissaries who had gone up with him said, "We cannot attack that people, for it is stronger than we." Thus they spread calumnies among the Israelites about the land they had scouted, saying, "The country that we traversed and scouted is one that devours its settlers. All the people that we saw in it are of great size. We saw the Nephilim there, the Anakites."
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, too quick.
The Anakites are part of...
Hold on 1 second. Okay, go ahead, Reese. Go ahead.
Okay. The Anakites are part of...
Wait, hold on, sorry.
Oh, good.
There we go, okay.
Are part of the Nephilim, and we looked like grasshoppers to ourselves, and so we must have looked to them. The whole community broke into loud cries, and the people wept that night. All the Israelites railed against Moses and Aaron. If only we had died in the land of Egypt, the whole community shouted at them, or if only we may die in the wilderness. Why is the Eternal taking us to that land to fall by the sword? Our wives and children will be carried off. It would be better for us to go back to Egypt. And they said to one another, "Let us head back for Egypt."
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm gonna stop the share so that everybody can see each other. Thank you. Marcia, thank you, or Janet rather, thank you for also offering to read. Well, I think, that was Kelwin who was reading?
Yep.
It was Kelwin, thank you. I didn't know, it was a good read. That's a difficult one. Thank you. And let's talk a little bit about, hopefully you are unmuted unless you've chosen to mute yourself. And if you're muted and don't want to be, raise your hand and I can also unmute you. Janet, you're not muted, okay? Are you muted? All right, well, that's weird. You're not muted on my screen. Maybe
If you log off and log in again, sometimes that helps you to unmute yourself.
Janet, you're not muted on my screen. So.
Turn the volume up.
Yeah, maybe try turning your, can you hear us, Janet? Yeah, but we can't hear you. So it might be your microphone. Okay, we'll wait for a second. You don't show muted for me, so it might be worth logging off and logging back on. Or you can also write your comment in the chat box if you want. Arlene, you're also Arlene, Bernice, Catherine. A few of you are Leslie. I mean, you might choose to be muted. That's totally fine. But you are, from my end, unmuted. So, and if you want to say something and we can't hear you, raise your hand and we'll try you from there. So let's talk for a couple minutes about this passage in Numbers and what is widely debated and discussed with our sages and our scholars about the sin of the 10 spies and how you understand this passage. Tell me what caught your attention, just maybe even if you've read it before or if this is the first time you're reading it. What was one of the things that caught your attention first, on hearing it today?
So if Moses told them to go up to the Negev and into the hill country, so if we had never been there, how did he know where to go?
Right. So that's the first question, right? How did they know where to go? Did they know where to go? Right.
And if that's the case, if God had given Moses some information on where to go, you would have thought that he would have said, well, keep going. It's not as bad as you think it is. I know.
Oh, aha. So, and then Rebecca, an interesting point. What might have been the function in God not tipping God's proverbial hand quite yet about how the land looked? What is, for those of you who know this passage, what do the 10 spies who came back with negative reports get slammed for? Why are they, why are aspersions cast upon them when they, when we look back at them in history? It is very clear to us that the reports that they gave are negative, and that there is a negative perspective on the negative reports that they gave. Right? And we see the imagery, right? Why might God have been upset?
Well, they're viewing themselves as grasshoppers. They have such a negative view of themselves. Why, you know?
Right. So that's the first part, right? Right. They the imagery alone, right? We see that they think of themselves as insignificant and small, and as if they can't, right? They just can't. They can't be up for the task, right? Right. There's a sense of Liz wrote in a lack of faith, right? Liz, are you choosing to be muted? You can't. Hold on.
Oh,
There you go.
Yeah, well, God said go, and they didn't. They went and checked first. So there's a kind of a lack of faith.
So right they're chastised for not having faith. Right.
On the other hand, they are the leaders of their tribes. And so they represent everybody, and maybe it's, aside from just faith, pure faith, is really to rally their people to be excited about where they're going, and not to be so negative, and not to spread calumnies. Isn't gossip. It's a feeling of that they're not going to be able to do it, and then they all say, let's go back.
Right. The word that the sages use is that they're slanderous, right? That those 10 spies come back, and they aren't just pessimistic, but they spread the word that it's not possible, right? That God has really kind of set up a kind of trap for them, right? And that's worrisome, and that's what they get charged for, is for being not just their lack of faith, but that they go on and they pass this dangerous message, this damaging message on to the people, to say, don't go. It's gonna be horrible, and you're not up to the task, and they're far too great for us, right?
They're not preserving the chain of command.
Right, which we know God doesn't dig, right?
Nope.
Right, we absolutely know that. Janet, can we hear you now?
Yes.
Great.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Arlene Weisenberg, you're unmuted now. It looks
Oh,
like.
I am now?
Yeah,
Good.
you are. We can hear you. So, yeah.
Oh,
I know you struggled before, so you're good now.
thank you.
And also, you can if you're muted and you want to be unmuted, raise your little hand icon too, and I can go back and try to unmute you, because I see some of you are muted, but you might be choosing to be muted. So I don't want to unmute anybody who's choosing to be muted. Okay?
Oh, unmute him.
Yeah, good. So what else? How do you understand the function? So we talked about the 10 spies. How do you understand the function of Caleb and Joshua? What was their role in all of this? What did they come back and say? What did Caleb say? Nobody?
You guys didn't do your homework.
Right?
I sent it to you.
Right. Ellen, what did Caleb say?
Caleb said it was a wonderful land, and we could do it, and let's persevere and move on.
Right.
But the interesting thing is that he spoke first rather than Joshua, and an alternative purpose of this section is to show who are going to be the next leaders after Moses died, and yet it was Caleb that spoke up first.
Right, and yet Joshua, who what in the end?
Who's actually going to be the person who has the inspiration and is the next in line,
right,
after Moses.
Was he being humble? Was Joshua being humble?
Thoughtful.
Could be. But Caleb's name didn't get changed. It notes there that Joshua's name was changed to whatever it was from before.
Right, son of Nun. Right. Caleb is seen as bold and courageous, and Joshua kind of after him, or maybe alongside of him. But Caleb is really the one who gets the credit, right? And we know, right? Does this generation make it into the land of Israel? No, right? It's the children, actually the children of Joshua and Caleb who make it in, right? But not this generation. Is that because of their faithlessness? Is this because they demurred, when God said, go into the land, right? So,
excuse me.
Oh, God bless, right? You sneeze on the truth, as my grandmother used to say, right? Right. So the name of the parsha is Shalach Lecha, right? Which actually means Shalach comes from the word to send, and Lecha we know is personal. It means yourself. So what does it mean, right? When we put this together, what does it mean to send yourself? And we look at this narrative, and here they are on the threshold. What should be the threshold of entering into the land of Israel, right? It's not just the word isn't go, right? The word is send yourself. Right? So how do we understand what's the impact of sending ourselves out into unknown, unfamiliar territory? What does that entail? What might happen? What does that look like for each of us? What do we learn from this story? Right? There is the sense that you can be cautious and fearful. You can do as Caleb did, which is to say, we're capable, we can do this, we should. Liz, go ahead.
It reminds me of Lech Lecha in the sense of there's a communication of volition. You have a choice.
Right.
Or agency is a better word, because if you're sending yourself or going by yourself, there's a suggestion that you have to be active in this.
Right. And we know.
And
right?
I want to add to that a thought that the Lech Lecha was a command from God to one person.
Mm-hmm.
And here I'm thinking that it's to every individual. Shalach Lecha, everybody's got to make that commitment individually. You're not going to just make that commitment schlepping your family and your cousins and your dogs and your cattle with you, but that even though the people that went out to investigate the land, every person in their family has to make that decision for him or herself.
Right.
Right, and that makes a difference, right? That one person, right, who stands out in the story is Caleb, right? Even though Joshua is the one ultimately to lead us, right? That Caleb stands out for his courageousness, right, in the face of fear, right? He might have seen the same things, he might have had the same reaction, but still perseveres and says, we should go. Right, we should go. And what do we ultimately possibly learn from this story? Right, we know that we made it into the land eventually. Right, this is a bit of a spoiler alert. Right, but we know that we made it. Right, we made it in eventually. Right, but that there is merit in. Right, this was right. Cantor Braun sang this last night. Right, that it's the Pirkei Avot passage. That it's not our job to finish the work, but neither are we free to desist from it. Right, that we have an obligation to take those steps, even if we don't complete the journey in this case, right? The journey as Caleb and Joshua were hoping would end, right? Even with the reaction of the other 10 leaders, right? We know that one person or two people can in fact make an ultimate difference in the end result, even if we don't see it in our lifetime, right? Is an important lesson for us, especially now when there is so much that needs to be done on so many different levels, right? The strength, right? Yeah. Well, right, too much, right? And so too did the other 10 spies think too much.
Mm-hmm.
And yet Caleb and Joshua thought, you know what, we can do it. And ultimately, the 2, not the 10, are the one who actually gave shape to who we are and how we are as a people, right? Quite remarkably. What else are you thinking about from this passage?
It's not that we're so far into the journey at this point of the 40 years in the wilderness, and people are making commitments on behalf of their children, and we also are weeding out the people who came along with us at the Exodus the people who were let out of prison and the people who, what they call the riffraff, the other people. And now these commandments are given specifically to the leaders of the tribes rather than just anybody who's thinking about it. Right. And delineating it, and that we make choices for the people who will come after us, because at this point, nobody except for Caleb and Joshua, who are at the Exodus experience, will survive this 40 years. It'll be 2 generations more.
Right. 2 generations more. And the other piece that we learn, right, is the power of our speech, right? That what the 10 spies get chastised for in many, 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 many more generations to come in our writings is slander, right? Is the power of their words to dissuade and discourage an entire people from making it into the land. Right.
Also interesting that they didn't have a cabinet meeting before, that Moses and Aaron didn't filter this through. They just immediately called everybody together without hearing. And that just seems to me like you're not even going to listen to them first and get more details.
Right.
Just going to show up with a big bunch of grapes.
Right. The power of the mass. Right. Yep. Liz, go ahead.
There's also the idea that they're leaders. We've seen in other places where a leader failing to show faith or to follow God or whatever is a bigger deal than just an ordinary guy, because they're exemplars for the community. And so that's an extra added little oomph.
Right. And when you have 10, Reba, go ahead.
I'm just thinking, thank you for noticing, that we were a little bored by hearing somebody, son of somebody else, but I think that's significant because just as these, the people that came before led to Caleb having the courage, and that the people that were excluded from being the progenitors, I don't know what that means, but the people that will have children that go to Israel are the ones that will be honored in the somebody, son of somebody else. They give their future generations a way to view themselves and to honor their destiny.
Yeah, it's an important point, right? It's important where, we said this morning in Torah study, from whence we cometh, right? And our lineage, right? With a caveat that our lineage doesn't define where we can go, right? That if we look at the 10 and the 2, right? The lineage of the 10 who said, no, don't go, right? Versus the 2, the tribes, right? That the heads of the tribes of the 2, right? Of Caleb and Joshua, right? We know ultimately, as Ellen just said, right? 2 generations later, right? The children of the children, right? Who made it into the land of Israel, right? And how we are, right? And how we are as a people, and how we can be informed by our ancestors, but not only limited by their early decisions, right? Right? To honor that as giving shape, but not defining ultimately. Yeah, Janet, please.
I don't know where I heard this, and I don't know what you think about it, that the reason that only a few people got in to the land was because we couldn't have slaves come in with a slave mentality, and therefore that's why we waited so many generations to even reach the land. Because if you think about it, it shouldn't have taken 40 years to go from there to there. So what do you think of that?
Right. It's such a compelling argument, right? That the people weren't ready, right? Yeah. That they weren't emotionally, they weren't spiritually, they weren't intellectually, they weren't individually and communally as a people ready to enter the land yet, right? That's sometimes we look at that as reading back into history and trying to understand it. And sometimes, we understand that as that was the case. Maybe they needed more time in the desert, in the wilderness, right? Some people have actually likened that, they have used that analogy to this time that we're in, this bizarre and fragile time that we're in now, that we needed time for kind of uncertainty and doubt and wandering and aimlessness, as we have kind of now during this virus time, to figure out not only where we want to go, but how to be as a community. Right? I have heard, Janet, I've heard that same argument used for now. It's quite compelling, right? It's quite compelling to think, you know, without the slave piece, right? Because that also, there is a counter argument, as you can imagine, about victim blaming, right? That when we look at slavery, to say that slaves only know a certain way it is not a fault of their own, but a readiness, right? It's got some prickles to it, but it's got also some good food for thought for us as well. Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
To be continued. Thanks, friends. Cantor, will you help us with the blessing afterwards?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten hador.
Amen. Amen. I'm going to mute everybody one more time, and unmute the cantor. Oh, hopefully I will mute all. Cantor, hold on 1 second. I think we are still unmuted. Oh no, yeah, you're muted. Okay, and let's continue. We'll invite you, please, as we turn to our concluding prayers, to join us as we rise in body or in spirit for the Elenu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא סרגי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות אדמה, שלא שם כלהנו כהם מגורלנו, ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר בחיי אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
Let's turn our thoughts now to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and of death. We think of our own loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own during the period of Shloshim, these last 30 days. We are mourning the loss of Sam Webby, father of Ziad Webby. We are mourning also Ron Kaplan, cousin of Jackie Buff, Jerome Wagner, husband of Catherine Wagner, father of Stephen Wagner, Eric Pash, father of Susie Rosenblum, and Jacqueline Levine, aunt of Diana Sorosky. This marks a yahrzeit and anniversary of passing for Joseph Altman, Richard Ambush, Jeanette Axelrod, Harold Baker, Norman Baker, Max Blankoff, Sylvia Chambers, Joseph DiCario, Sally Gerard, Rose Goodman, Anne Green, Eli Heimberg, Donald Hiller, Benjamin Katzel, Eva Kaufman, Martha Coleman Davidson, Steve L. Krasner, Harry Lax, Barbara Leonard, Alice Lewis, Ida Lewis, John Louis, Sidney Myers, Bernard Miller, Charles Montrose, Hyman Peck, Millard Ring, Arthur Shire, Max Schnoll, Gertrude Sharon, Irma Silverstein, Abe Smolowitz, Gussie Stabens, Vel Stein, Becky Walensky, Robert Wagner, John Warner, Jack Weinstein, Bella Weiser, and Daniel Wertheimer. If there are other names that you would add to either list, please would you enter them into the chat box now? Zichronam livracha, may their memories be for a blessing as we join together in the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yit Gadal, Bit Kadash, Shmei Rabbah, Ve'alma Divra Chirutei, V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon, V'yomechon, V'chaye Jechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agalau, V'zman Kari, V'imru, Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach Le'olam, Olmei Olmaya. It's okay. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'rihu le'ilah min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'elma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imramav hu ya'aseh shalom. Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all who mourn, as together we join in saying, Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Please be seated. We'll share with you just a few brief announcements this morning. We have Havdalah this evening at 7 p.m. We hope you'll join us for that. And Monday evening at 5 p.m. our happy hour with probably with Rabbi Katz as he enters his last week before he retires. And then do join us on Wednesday morning for the healing service at 8 a.m. and Friday night next week at 6 p.m. as we have our farewell service to Rabbi Katz at 6 p.m. and a bittersweet service to be sure, but we hope that we can all be together and even though not in person, we can send him off with love and warmth and appreciation and respect as best we can next week at 6. Next Saturday morning, we have Torah study for the last time before we break for the summer at 9:15 in the book of Ezekiel. Shabbat services at 10:30 and the bar mitzvah of Oscar Libman, son of Mark Libman and Christina Lee, and then Havdalah at 7 p.m. Let us know, please, if you have any announcements that you would like us to share at Friday night services moving forward. And keep your eyes open for a survey that's coming from the URJ that is likely to come out this coming week. That will take less than 5 minutes and will really help us frame what we are doing moving forward. There's so many changes afoot, and we want to do this as best we can and well. And if you have any other announcements, please do let us know in the chat box or in the office. We are very happy to see our youngest temple member joining us. And, I love it. Perfect from our story and the spies. I love the visual aid. Beautiful. Must be actually how it looks to Levi as well, right? These massive grapes, right? And all these giant faces. It's probably exactly how it felt to the spies at that time. So with that, we will continue on as we conclude and turn to Motzi and our closing song and Kiddush. So if you have grape juice or wine, if you want to help us sweeten and sanctify the day, we invite you please to rise for Kiddush.
Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri chagafen.
L'chaim.
L'chaim. Baruch Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Amen and b'tevon, everybody. Join us, please, right? Such a good message for us, or Zarua, right? That light and brightness is sown for the righteous and joy in our hearts, and so very much needed at this time. Please do be seated if you're still standing and join us in our closing song, Or Zarua.
Or Zarua was written in the 80s by Jeff Clapper. So I just took, courage to sing it because I don't know if you know the song. But we'll sing a few times. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Kol Yisrael Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Kol Yisrael Lev Simcha. Or Zarua, Tzadik, Kol Yisrael Lev Simcha.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We wish you a good, a healthy, a peaceful, a safe, and a restful Shabbat, and the opportunity to be outside and to feel the sun on your skin if you can, and the warmth of it all, and to just be thankful for those moments that come your way, and you're able to move through with peace and joy in your heart. And we are thankful that you're with us this morning, and wish you a very, very best of a Shabbat Shalom. We're happy to see you, and happy to see our little round cherub-faced Wojciech online with us. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat
Shalom. Say Shabbat Shalom. Time for nap.
Time for
Shabbat
nap for
Shalom.
everybody. Is it everybody's nap time or just his?
Anyone who wants one.
Yeah.
Hi, Daniel and Yoni, they couldn't wait to see the baby. They just keep waiting for the end of the service to see the baby.
Well, I don't want to disturb people in the middle
I
of the
know.
service.
So thanks for bringing Eli.
We got the grapes.
Rebecca Dreyer said can't
Yeah.
unmute.
Yeah, it's bizarre. You're unmuted on my screen. Let me try muting you and unmuting you. Yeah, Rebecca, you're not actually muted on my screen, which is bizarre.
They changed the settings on Zoom like maybe a week ago, and there are some glitches now.
Yeah, it's bizarre. Yeah. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Have a great day today.
Shabbat Shalom. Hope to see you at 7. Oh, we can hear the baby.
You look tired.
Time to go schluffy.
Yeah.
Shabbat Menucha, right? That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
That's it.
But we'd like it longer and later.
Bye, Rebecca. Shabbat Shalom. We'll look forward to hearing you next time.
Everybody.
Bye, Arlene and Jerry. Take care. Ellen, he's gorgeous.
Thank you.
He's
I
gorgeous.
enjoy
He's got
having him here for this.
good Bekalach. Does he talk?
Sometimes he does lots of tricks, but
Can I get up and you'll see?
Does he say mom? Does he say mom?
uh-huh. And a lot of other things. But
Does
today,
he have teeth? He have teeth coming in?
probably. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But today's my dad's yahrzeit, and he's named after my dad, so
Oh, nice.
I would have woken him up to come in.
Yeah, it's a nice circle. A nice circle for sure. All right, another day for sure. Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Daniel and Yoni. Nice to see you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Weisenbergs. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Bye, Cantor Braun.
Bye. See you soon.
See you. Bye-bye.
Leave you.